Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel once again, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I am Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I am a researcher, I'm a sociologist, I'm a public speaker, I'm a life coach, I am a lecturer in the university. On this channel, I do a number of stuffs, but all these stuffs I do, you can cluster them into 4: sociology, research, migration, and relationship. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly go ahead and subscribe to this channel and tell others. Press the subscribe button on your screen. Click the subscribe button on your screen and subscribe to this channel. If you have subscribed previously, thank you very much for staying tuned. On this video today, I want to address another very important topic within the confine of research. Case study. Case study is the title of this video, and in this video I will talk about what case study is and some other things you need to know about case study. I've been doing videos on research over a period of time now, and just recently I did a video on in-depth interview. I did another video on key informant interview. I've done videos on different things. So on this one, I'll be talking about case study. And on this case study, it's good for you to know that case study is a method of data collection, at the same time a method of data analysis. So you can use it at different times for different purposes. If you want to consider case study even as a method of data analysis, you have to collect the data in the first instance. And the data collection method that you adopted will determine how you analyze the data, talking about research, generally speaking. So case study, if you want to use case study approach to analyze your data, you must have gathered the data in a case study manner. So that means before you can use case study as a method of data analysis, you must have used case study as a method of data collection. Because if you collected the data through different methods, definitely the important information that you need, the important data that you need to get at the level of case study analysis will be missing. That's what it means. So for you to use case study as a method of data analysis, you must have used case study as a method of data collection. So it means it's a two-way thing in case study. So then what is case study? Case study simply means an in-depth data collection approach, or a data collection method or data analysis method that allows you to study a particular individual, a particular group, a particular event in greater details in a way that covers the totality of that individual or that event or that group. That means a method that allows you to gather data or analyze data to cover extensive component, extensive part of existence of an individual or an event or a group. So unlike in-depth interview or key informant interview that only focuses on an issue, case study simply focuses on every aspect of that individual or group, to totality of the event, the past, the present, the future, the institutional, the cultural issue. So you are able to analyze the situation case by case. So it's very important that you understand that the totality of the case you are analyzing. So the issue is that case is a very important word there. Taking the case as a situation, the individual, the group as a case, and understand the totality of that situation. For you to be able to understand the trend, the pattern, the processes, the causes, the consequences, and the trend of the issue, you want to be able to isolate patterns. You want to be able to isolate processes. You want to be able to isolate causes. You want to be able to isolate the history. You want to be able to isolate the culture. You want to be able to isolate the drivers. You want to be able to isolate the consequences and implication of that situation or of the issue you are on. You want to understand even the life history of the individual, the incident or the group or the situation. You know, the contextual issues, the ethnography of the issue. So you are studying this case or this situation in depth, beyond just a photographic or a static analysis of the situation. And you must know that I usually recommend that people don't use case study alone. Usually, I recommend and I use case study as sequential. Even in my PhD, in my thesis, I did case study. You know, before you do case study, it's better for you to have adopted some other methods, like maybe you have used in-depth interview or key informative interview, or you are even like you have even administered questionnaire. There's another video on questionnaire on this channel that you will now discover there is a particular issue, a particular individual, a particular group that you need to study in greater detail. So this, your previous data collection, will definitely tell you whether this case is worthy of being understood as a case study. You know, case study must be, the issue you want to use case study for must be very unique, must be very special. That's why I recommend that you use case study after you have used previous studies, previous method to collect data. If from this your previous method that you now sometimes determine to say, okay, I want to understand this situation, this group, this individual in greater detail, I will then do case study on this particular issue. For example, if you are conducting a study on unemployment or technological adoption or artificial intelligence and the impact on a group of people, definitely you might have studied a lot of people, but maybe you now discover that there is a particular situation where you believe the impact of AI is very phenomenal, is very unique among all the groups. Then you can now isolate that particular individual, that particular group, the particular situation for case study. So why you cannot use case study for too many situations, definitely. So it's better for you to be able to say, okay, this particular situation is worthy of being studied in greater detail as a case study. The situation must be unique, the individual must be unique and indicative, in the sense that it must be able to tell you that if I understand this one in greater detail, I will understand the situation even more. So I will conduct case study on this special, unique, indicative situation. So I can understand the pattern, the trend, and the consequences more. Then you have to know that case study is a transdisciplinary method, in the sense that it is used across different ministry, different disciplines for a different time, for different. So you can use it in marketing, even in health studies, in medicine, in pharmacy, in public health, in sociology, humanities, and social sciences. So it's a very dynamic and a very versatile method. But you must know that case study is not for generalization, because it's a subjective method of data collection. It's among the interpretive method that you use for data analysis and data collection. It's interpretivist, so and it's subjective, and it's for micro studies. You know, it's not for generalization. It's contextual. So I've seen some people, I've read some books that say that, okay, you can generalize case study. How do you generalize case study? You only want to study maybe a unique situation, few situations, for in-depth analysis, for in-depth data collection, to understand the totality of the situation as a scenario within a contextual environment. So you want to understand the norms, the values, the culture, the traditions, the issues, the normativities, that the institutional narratives, the structural scenarios, for you to be able to understand the situation more, or the group more, not to be generalized to other groups or other people. So generalization is not one of the reasons we do case study. In fact, it's for unique understanding. So it's to contextual situation, as a complement sometimes of other methods like I've mentioned. So generalization is not our interest in case study. It's just for elaborate, comprehensive understanding. And there are advantages of this case study. It enables you to have unique understanding of the situation, unique, comprehensive interpretation of the situation, depth, and it's able to enable you to complement other methods with case study. But you can use it alone. It's not that you can't use case study alone, but sometimes I encourage triangulation, that you combine more than one method so that you can have detailed understanding of the situation. But the comprehensive understanding, the subjective understanding, contextual understanding, the in-depth understanding, these are major advantages of case study. But there are also disadvantages of case study, in the sense that, number one, you cannot generalize findings from case study. Sometimes you can also have, number two, too much details, that you might be overwhelmed. You may have hundreds of pages of transcripts. It's difficult to transcribe because you have great details. And some of these details eventually may not be relevant. Then you then have to do rigorous analysis. So too much details, then you cannot generalize, then you cannot establish cause and effect analysis from it or result from it. You can't say A causes B because you are looking at different. So cause and effect analysis or conclusion, is usually very difficult in case study. We don't look for that. We only want to understand the totality. As some people say you can test hypothesis in case study. I don't think generally qualitative method of data collection. I'm not interested in testing hypothesis. Though this is a debate. If you want to test hypothesis, simply go for questionnaire, go for quantitative analysis or data collection. That you can use a lot of analytical strategies to reach hypothesis testing and cause and effect narrative and generalization. Simply go for questionnaire. So you can do univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, inferential analysis. You can use regression, ANOVA, multiple regression, logistic regression, correlation. All of this you can do in quantitative, and then do your cause and effect and generalization. But in qualitative, we don't want to generalize. It's fundamentally wrong to generalize through qualitative data because it's actually for contextual analysis, subjective analysis, interpretivist analysis, not a positivist analysis. You can watch my video on micro and macro sociology to understand this more. So we don't want to establish cause and effect, and we don't want to quantify. You cannot quantify. That's another disadvantage sometimes. If you like it that way, you cannot quantify case study. Though I know there are softwares you can use that can give you some element of word frequency and some across tabulations, but quantification is not the original design intention of case study, and it's subjective. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed myself. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Tap or click the subscribe button on your screen and share as widely as possible. Until I see you in my next video, be your best.